Hello again. Okay, the videos I did yesterday, half of them, more than half, are upside down. So I have to start them again or they'll annoy me. It was fine when I did the first few that were upside down, but I can't carry on with upside down videos. It's not fair on you. Okay, so all I'm going to show you today is how to make a basic box that holds envelopes and cards. A 15 cm square, which is 15.5 for the envelope, which is a 6-inch card for those of you who work in Imperial. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make this one, but I will also tell you how to make one for an individual card that is dimensional, because I get asked for those regularly. Okay, so I'll talk you through the measurements for that one as we work our way through this one. Okay, so this one would hold 6 envelopes, 6 cards, depending on how much decoration you've got on them. Okie dokie. So what you need: 2 sheets of A4 card cut down to 21 centimeters square. Our A4 card is 21 by 29.7. So you've got the width, you just need to square it off on 2 pieces of card. We'll also need a scrap of card measuring 14.5 centimeters squared, which we're going to use to cut out to create the window, as opposed to a die. I mean, you can use a die, but I want to keep it old school while I'm doing these videos. And you'll also need a piece of acetate. This is quite heavy weight. This is about 220, as opposed to a really fine one. I find the bigger the aperture, the heavier you need the acetate to be. So the acetate is 15.25 centimeters squared. Okay, so that's all we need for this box. You can decorate it any way you want. Okay, so on your base, you are going to score in a 2.5 border all the way around, and on the lid your border will be 2.4. okay, that 1 millimeter makes a difference between the lid going on top, sliding down on top of the box, or not. So 2.4 border for the lid and a 2.5 border for the base. Okay, so I'm just going to move those up there out my way a minute. I'll leave them hopefully in camera shot, so if you need the measurements again you can quickly grab them. Right, I'm going to do what we always do with corners. I'm going to cut a straight line down the side edge, and then I'm going to cut a wedge into the gluing tab in the corner. This also removes the score line, so it's not visible on the outside of your box. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and do all of those. I've obviously already folded and burnished my lines, just to keep the video as short as I can. Sorry, I did say I would give you the measurements for the other box, didn't I? Okay, so for the card box, for a single card that is 15 centimeters square but has lots of dimension on, you'll need again the 2 21 centimeter square pieces of card, but the border on the base would be 3 centimeters all the way around, and the border on the lid would be 2.8. so that's if you just want a box for one individual dimensional card. Okay, and that gives you lots of rooms inside, so you can go totally mad with your embellishment on your card. But as I say, I'm always asked for a single box for a single card, but as these 2 boxes are so similar, it just makes sense to do one video for both. They both make up in exactly the same way. Your window in the box can be anything. I'm just gone for a square. You could use circles, stars, have lots of windows, anything. I'm just taking you through the basic. Okay, so when we're at this point, I'm just going to move this up here a second, because I'm going to, before we start gluing it together, I'm going to cut out this aperture. Always good wise to check you've got the right side of the box. That you're cutting the aperture out the right side of the box. So the lid is the one with the narrower, slightly narrower border around it. Okay, so just put glue on the back of your template. Any scrapper card will do. This was off a box, I think. It was writing on the back anyway, or printing. Okay, so just try and get it as centrally as you can with a nice even border all the way around. It doesn't have to be this big, you can go smaller if you want. You'll need to go a little bit smaller for your individual card. What did I go on that one? I did a 13.5 for the individual card because the box is slightly smaller. Okay, so now just with your craft knife, butt it up against this template and gently cut around. And then just release the corners if you haven't quite got there. I think I need to change the blade on my knife. There we go. Right, now I always use 2 or 3 millimeter double-sided tape to fix acetate windows into the apertures. I'm just going to run a border all the way around this cut line with the tape. Fortunate that it's another nice so bright day outside, as I'm still having some problems, not all the time, it's weird, it just happens sometimes, that if I put the big light on above my head, I get intermittent like shadows rolling on the videos and it's totally distracting. So I'm going to have to, I've been through them all since yesterday, so I know which ones of those I need to redo as well. Anyway, sorry, burnish down your carrier paper, your tape. It makes it easier to get it off with the back of a craft blade, and it also bonds it better to the whatever it is you're sticking it to. I'm just going to wipe the dust off my acetate down here on my leg. Okay, so drop your acetate onto the tape. And then burnish the acetate down to the tape as well, so there is a good bond there. You can use glue, you can use whatever you feel comfortable with to put your acetate in. I just tend to keep glue away from acetate because I end up with it on the acetate unfailingly. Okay, so next I am going to put glue on all of the 4 gluing tabs on both the lid and the base of the box. The most important part of the gluing tab where you need the glue is along that crease, because that, if that isn't stuck down right along down that edge, that is what you'll see from the outside of the box. So make sure you've got glue down the fold of your gluing tab, and then you know it's going to sit nicely from the outside. Yeah. So again, glue along the fold edge, crease. The last one. There we go. Okay, so I now go back to where I started with the glue and start folding down my corners, folding my corners. The most important part of box making is getting your corners nice and square, because if you don't, the lid won't slide onto the base. So corners are the most important part of any box. Nice corners. So do your best to get nice sharp corners. Right, I'm not going to stick those two down because I'm going to show you a tip which I generally share in these videos, but in case you haven't seen any of the other videos. So I'm going back to the base of the box, and I'm going to stick the corners down in the base of the box, again taking care to make sure they're nice and sharp. I don't know if you can hear the floorboards creaking upstairs. That's why I've got the radio on all day. I actually miss having the radio on when I'm doing these videos. It's too quiet. So used to having it on now. Okay, last corner. Okay, come undone at that side, back in there. Right, so just slightly pinch your corners, it just brings the sides in. There we go. Now the tip. I glued, there's bits of dust all over here. I glued two of the corners down. I'll just do it later. I didn't secure the other two. I've got glue on them, but I haven't secured them yet. So just open them up a little bit and drop the lid of your box onto the base, and then form it round and check that everything's good, because this is where you can tighten it up a little bit if you need to, so that it fits nicely, or slacken it off if you need to. So it's always a good idea to leave those two corners till the end. The one thing I have missed, which would have helped with this bit, but never mind, is the thumb holes. Right, so I'm just going to go back in and stick those down thoroughly. There we go. Right, what I should have said, something I often forget, I don't know why, is if you've got a box with a lid that covers the entire side of the box, so is, you know, completely flush with the box, you need somewhere for people to pop their thumb in to separate the two parts of the box to take the lid off. If the lid is a shallow lid with a deep box, it doesn't matter so much. But when the lid and the box are both the same depth, you need something to get your fingers into so you can take the lid off the box. I've got glue on my fingers. I'm trying not to go anywhere near the acetate. There we go. So I've got a nice fitting box. The lid isn't falling off and it's not bowing inside. So it's not, you know, the lid isn't too tight either, or the sides would bow in. Okay, so there's your box for multi-cards. And I'll go back through again with the box for a single dimensional card. And I remember there's some holes in that one. It's a 21 centimeter square for base and lid. You need a 3 centimeter border on the base and a 2.8 centimeter border on the lid, and I used a 13.5 template for the window on that one, which is slightly smaller than this one. Okie dokie, fingers crossed this one worked.